Hi, it's Linda from Homestead by the Lake. So I am starting today with a breakfast that will be good for the next 5 days for the pantry challenge. I'm going to start a frittata. Okay, so here's my freezer tray with a lot of my veggies in it. Let's see what we have to use up. Peppers. Oh, I do have jalapenos. Good. Okay, good. Here is some garden kale. I'm gonna put that in my frittata. I do have some tomatoes. Look at that. See, you never know. You forget what you have in your freezer, don't you? So I'm gonna put some tomatoes in. Oh, I have more jalapenos. I have more kale. I have more tomatoes. Oh, this is fantastic. This is kale. Actually, I think I'm going to use this kale up. It's a little bit less. We'll use that. All right, kale. So I have plenty of kale. I'm thrilled about that. I have some asparagus. I'm going to save that when I make soup. And green beans. That will be when I make my vegetable soup, which is so good. So I am going to use up some of these peppers. I've got some red and green pepper, and I have some onion already cut up. I'm going to take some of that out. What else do I need for my frittata? You can put whatever you want in a frittata. Do I have enough? I'm going to put some goat cheese in it. I don't know. We'll see. Here's my other tray. It's huge. All right, there's some more green beans. I have chives. Oh, you know what? I think I want to use this chopped pepper. I'm going to change that out with this other pepper. And I found some broccoli. I'm going to use some of that broccoli. The corn I'm going to leave out for the girls. I have 2 bags of broccoli. I have spinach, cauliflower. I have some more peppers. Ooh, edamame. Chopped collards. And then I have celery. Let me go get my 2024 celery and put this celery on top of it because that celery is from 23. Okay, so here's my 2024 celery. So I'm going to put that on the bottom. So I use this celery first. Okay, we'll use that first. I don't need spinach. I'm good with that. Okay, and I'm going to do broccoli. Good. Look at that. See, isn't it good to get through your stuff that's in the freezer? Because you really, truly forget what you have. Edamame. I think I'm going to do this with tonight's dinner. Yeah, with tonight's dinner. So tonight's dinner is going to be, I took out some chicken out of the freezer. And I have some squash in the fridge that has to be used up. So I'm going to cook up some squash, some chicken, and then we'll have some edamame with it. That sounds good. And okay, that's good. Look at that. I just found 22 onions, which got buried in there. So I'm going to use those first and put the 23s back. I also took out my bread flour from the freezer. Because we're going to be making bread too. I also took some pumpkin out of the freezer for the girls. And I'm going to start to take all of my old bread out of the freezer. And I'm going to open them all up, let them get stale so we can make some breadcrumbs. All right, let's get started with our frittata for the pantry challenge. All the things that I just got out of my freezer looks so much better already. I'm so excited. So first I'm going to start with my girls' eggs. Oh, I need a bowl. Actually, I don't need a bowl. This is what I put my eggshells in from the girls. So this recipe Really, a frittata, you know, you can make it any way you want to. You can add whatever vegetables you want. Your base is your eggs, and add whatever you like. There's so many options. So, you want to start with a cast iron and an oven-friendly pan, because I'm going to cook this on the top, and then it's going to go in the oven to finish cooking. So you need an oven-safe pan to do that. I am going to use the whole dozen. And it really depends on the size of your pan. You don't have to use a whole dozen. I'm blessed with tons of eggs from the girls, so I'm lucky I can do this. And this frittata is going to feed us breakfast for the first week. Hang on, I wash my hands. Okay, we're going to whisk that up. Get rid of my eggs. All right, I have, there's my cast iron. How big is that? 12-inch maybe, 12-inch cast iron. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some olive oil in the bottom. And I'm going to use my garlic infused olive oil. Oh, it's so good. So, so good. So we're going to pour some in. Have you ever made garlic infused olive oil? Make it once, you'll make it all the time, trust me. So I'm just going to give a nice coat and on the sides of my pan. Perfect. And I'm almost out. It is time to make some more. And once you scramble up your eggs, you want to add your milk. Like you would if you were making French toast or anything like that. At least a half a cup of milk in your eggs will do the trick. I'm going to add some more. Okay. In your pan it goes. Gorgeous. Okay, so now what you want to do is start adding your items that you want in your frittata. So I am going to add some chopped pepper. See, and it just, when you freeze it, if you cut it all up and freeze it, it comes right apart. And you do not have to thaw it out to add this to your frittata. It's fine. Ooh, look at that. And again, as much as you want. Whatever makes you happy. And I am going to add some chopped onion. Same thing with the onion. It should just pull apart. Whoops. Don't drop any on the floor like me. Except it's really cold on your hands. See, I had no idea I had onion from 22. I'm so glad I found that. Okay, now I'm going to add some tomatoes. Have you ever cut a frozen tomato? Is it possible? Let me see. Look. My favorite from my nephew. Let's see if you can cut a tomato. If not, I'll put them in whole. Oh, you can cut them. Totally fine. So I'm going to cut some of these cherry tomatoes and put those in. Perfect. This is going to be pretty. Look at that. Okay, I am going to add some broccoli. This is chopped. Oh, good. That's even better. Try and break this up. Oh, you know what? Since I have chopped frozen broccoli, how about making a quiche? That's gonna go on the menu. Look at that, gorgeous. Okay, now I'm going to add some kale from the garden. And this has already been washed and chopped before I put it in the freezer. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to start to add, oh, I forgot pepper and salt before I put all the stuff in. I always do that. All right, so just pepper it and salt it. Now, don't forget that cheese has a lot of salt. So if you want to not put salt in it and then wait till you're eating it and add some salt, might be a better idea. So I put very little. Shoot, I totally forgot to mix that in. Okay, so now I'm gonna get, what you want to use with a frittata is a strong cheese, something with some good flavor. Because you don't want your cheese to just disappear on you in there. I mean, you can use whatever cheese you want. But a goat cheese, if you like goat cheese is gonna be delicious in here. I really cannot wait to see how much is saved by not going to the grocery store for as long as possible. I'm not going to set a limit. I'm just going to keep doing it for as long as I can get dairy and I have enough food in the house. I'm going to keep going. Okay, I'm going to push some of that down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start this on top of the stove. We're going to let this, do I need to put some cheddar on it? You know, I don't think so. I think the feta is going to be more than enough for it. So I am going to turn this on medium. Let this start to heat up. Let the bottom start to cook some. I found some feta. So I'm going to add some feta in there as well. This is gonna be delicious. So I have my stove on medium. So watch your pan. It's probably gonna cook for about 10 minutes. And you want it to start to get a little bubbly and thickened on the sides, and I'll show you that when we get there. Okay, so here I've pulled out all the bread from the freezer, and I got my big pan out, and all I'm gonna do is let this thaw and stay out and get hard so I can grind it up and make breadcrumbs. And I just love doing that. I do not like to waste that bread when you can make something out of it. I don't know why I did that. Oh, guess who's starting to get bubbly over there? I all of a sudden started to smell it. I think I thought I was going to save this bread, but it's not savable. All right, can you see? It's starting to get a little bubbly, but we're going to let it continue, and we're going to let a hardened exterior around close to the pan. So here is all the bread from the freezer. This is starting to bubble, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit more because I don't want the bottom to burn. I have too much bread for this pan. But boy, taking the bread out makes such a difference in your freezer. It takes up a lot of space, you know? Look at that. This is going to make a lot of breadcrumbs. Look at that. So I'm just going to sit this on the table and rotate it and turn it and let it defrost and let it get nice and stale. So we are going to start our oven. Let it get preheated at 400. I'm going to turn that down a little bit more. I'm going to bring you closer so you can see how it's doing. Look at that. See how that's starting to bubble? But what we want now is we want a nice finished edge around before we put it in the oven. See how we have some that is cooked around the edges? That's what you want. And now we're going to put it in the oven. So put it in your oven, set your timer for 10 minutes, but keep a little eye on it because you don't want it to overcook. Oh, look at that. How beautiful is that? It's going to sit and cool off before I cut it up. Let's see what we have. So I'm going to cut this up in sections and put it in containers for breakfast. Still pretty hot, but I'm afraid it's going to cook too much in the pan, so I'm going to try and get some out. Oh, it's sticking a little bit to the side of the pan. I might not have put enough oil on there. So make sure your oil goes all the way to the top when you're doing your pan. You know what? I think I'm going to get my pie. See? Oh. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is beautiful. Okay, so I am going to let this cool in a regular pan. So it doesn't continue to cook. Oh, it's beautiful. And be careful, don't forget that your pan's hot. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So actually, I have 8 days of breakfast just from this one frittata. Well, because during the week, I'm the only one who eats breakfast, so on the weekend, my husband may share in, but I'm gonna say 8 days of breakfast. Oh, gorgeous. Look at that frittata. And I will tell you, it tastes delicious. So for my frittata out of the freezer, I used onions, kale, peppers, tomatoes. Oh, I have an awful memory. All right, there we go. We have breakfast for the next 8 days. This is Linda with Homestead by the Lake. Thank you so much for watching my video.